I'm surprised. I agree with a lot that Carol Lanoux said. I want to take it one step further. I don't agree with everything our friend said here, but I'm not going to go into the internal politics of Europe. Leftist. So my analysis starts a little bit more Marxist, close to what Carol said, one step further. What I see now is what I call a turbo capitalism coming up in the United States, with all social restrictions being loosened. And the first was getting rid of Medicaid or Medicare, I don't know which of the two, which they rescinded, getting rid of veteran benefits with disability, reducing the social fabric, breaking it up. AI will play a big role in that. There's no digital act in the United States. There's no control over that. They're going to go much farther. We're going to have a new Gini coefficient that will be worse. In other words, inequality will grow. There will be a new rich class and a larger poor class as things get displaced with AI. I know the optimists say it'll work out.
But what are the implications for the relationship between the US and
So I'm giving a narrative. So this is the US. Turbo capitalism. Carol put it out. What's Europe? Well, we had a commissioner last time. We sort of laughed about it, but I like that title. The European Way of Life. Remember that commission? It was a Greek one, actually. And people made fun of it. But that is what's going to be in demand from the world. Europe will be the oasis. That's my new narrative. The one that will put a restriction on AI would be more, should invest in people that need empathy to work in, carers, caregivers, nurses, teachers, professors, where so far the robots can't take over, so far. We have some other facts that Carol could have pointed out. The productivity of the Eastern European countries is higher than the productivity in the United States for the same time periods. So it's not as bad as the Draghi report. And increased investments leads to increased productivity. So a more Keynesian approach to Europe, which means public sector spending. And so we'll have two very stark alternatives. And it means we have to bite the bullet, which means we have to be tough on tariffs. Unfortunately, we probably have to put tariffs when they put tariffs on us. We have to help Denmark, whatever government's in power. I don't think we'll be able to sit back with this new capitalism, which will be for 4 years. It might be even a final breath, because if he puts tariffs, that'll create huge instability, and it might send the country spiraling downwards on China especially. So it's not clear that capitalism will survive a Trump. It could go huge explosion in America with more environmental problems. And the United States, Europe will be a place where Western migrants will want to come from the West. This is my extreme narrative, that people would like to come from Western countries to a more gentle European way of life.
But in prepared remarks for the World Economic Forum last week, he made it clear that he wants the United States not just to be great again, but also supreme in so many areas. Is that something which Europe can resist along the lines of what we've heard from
Yes, and that's where we have to, that's where the politicians, even the middle level ones, which I guess I'll join that group as an MEP in Brussels, will have to make the argument that if we don't want American dominance, this has been going on from the left for many years, we have to respond in kind. Unfortunately, we can either give Greenland to America. Would you like to see that, or we don't?
What does in kind mean?
It means tariff to tariff, for example. That's a clear example. Unfortunately, that's my opinion. We can have the tariffs, and what do we say? We go for a nice discussion with the new, I don't know who the new Commerce Secretary is. I think he's a startup person, and he's going to talk about tariffs. He's going to know what taxes are, so you know better. So we have to respond with toughness. Of course, that's a negotiating tactic, right? It's not always you end up with, as Mr. Kedis knows very well, responding with toughness. And what Trump is doing doesn't mean he's going to send in the troops to Greenland, but he's threatening to, whatever that means. And what are we going to do? It's a NATO ally versus a NATO ally, but in a very rare. So we have to take stock of that. It's going to be a new world. There's a rift, and we need to promote our own values. Yes, we might be slower on growth, but we're more humane. And that's what's going to be the European values that will attract the world to this continent.
But Nikos, let me put to you that phrase from the president. The EU treats us very, very unfairly, very badly. There's a mindset.
That's a very odd mindset. We know that the benefits of a NATO ally were huge for the United States as well. It's not that they were doing a favor to the United States to have bases in Germany. It was part of the Cold War, as you know very well. So what does it mean to be treated badly? That's the first shot of the empty gun, of the empty bullet. It's a bullet, but it doesn't kill anybody yet. We need to respond in kind. I think we can't allow this argument that Europe is treating the United States very badly. In what sense? How? We don't allow Americans to come in with their visas. What does it mean to treat them badly? We're not buying enough American cars, which most of them can't compete on the international market.
Ian, given what you said at the beginning, I'd like you to respond to that about how the United States is going to move. But can